Hey everyone, I'm Kristan and this is Empowered by Women. In August of 2021, I launched Book of Bijou, which is a line of chic and innovative jewelry storage. And in January of 2022, we expanded into what you now see as the Empowered by Women platform. I really wanted to create a centralized space where we can really put emphasis on our mission of women empowerment and community over competition. It really truly does fill my cup to be surrounded by so many of you inspiring women, and the energy that you bring to me and our platform on a daily basis is unmatched. You really all do fuel me with so much motivation to continue doing what I'm doing, and for that, I thank you for being a part of our community, for joining me here today, and just for the ongoing support. I really cannot express how grateful I am and how much it means to me. So again, thank you so much. Before we jump into the episode, please be sure to follow or subscribe to us wherever you are listening, whether you're watching on YouTube or you're listening on your favorite podcast platform. And also don't forget to share your favorite episodes with your fellow female founders so that we can continue growing our platform and furthering our mission. All right, let's go ahead and jump into this next interview with another incredible woman in entrepreneurship that I know you guys are going to absolutely love. All right, everyone. Just as we said last week, I needed to talk to Kristan some more, and I'm sure there was so much more that you all needed to hear as well. So we're bringing back Kristan Fiandachs for a second round today. We're going to be diving more into her brand, Feel Good People, as well as her Feel Good mat and associated app. So Kristan, welcome back.
Long time no talk. Excited to be here again.
So for those that have not yet caught the first episode, break down for us, what is the Feel Good mat and app?
So the Feel Good mat is a vibration therapy mat that connects to an app on your phone. And in the app, you can operate the vibrations of the mat, but it also has sound experiences. So while you're listening to different types of relaxing music, you're also feeling the physical vibrations that's helping to relax you as well. So this is the marquee product of Feel Good People, and Feel Good People is our self-care technology company.
This sounds amazing. And first, before we dive into everything else that I wanted to dive into last time we spoke, you have this special deal going on right now. So let's just throw that out there at the beginning of this episode. Where can people find this mat, and what is the special deal that you've got going on right now?
Yeah, so we are available on the website. The Feel Good mat is available on the website, www.feelgoodpeople.com. And right now you can get the pre-launch price of $299. The mat normally will retail for $499, and we're going to be running this throughout the rest of the year. So hopefully that is a motivator for you to get out there and get your Feel Good mat.
$299, everyone, $299. And these mats that are currently like on the market, the non-feel good mats, am I saying that right? The non-feel good mats, they're like thousands of dollars. So you get the feel good mat for $299. So definitely check that out. But anyways, Kristan, I am so excited to dive into this crowdfunding platform direction that you've taken your business in. So the last time we spoke, you were talking about how you really wanted to bootstrap your business. That was something that was really important to you. You've been saving your money for this big idea that you knew you were going to have one day, and you really wanted to bootstrap it. So talk to us about the pivot in your mindset. Why go the crowdfunding direction?
Yeah, so I have always been really fascinated by crowdfunding in general. I think we talked a little bit about this, like the community, the people who crowdfund, the people who are on Kickstarter or Indiegogo is another really popular crowdfunding platform. I mean, these are people who really put their faith in a product or put their faith in an idea, and they, something resonates with them, even though this isn't always necessarily a proven product or a proven, idea from a founder. They go, this seems really, interesting, something that I would value, something that I need in my life. And I think especially launching a product during COVID, just on, we launched in 2023, but when we were ideating about, when we were going to do this, it was predominantly in 2022, and people were still kind of, not fully, I mean, there were events going on, but they weren't kind of at the scale that, we are gratefully more at nowadays. And so to be able to put a product online on a platform where people, aren't necessarily expecting to experience it to be the motivator to buy, I think that was like the other big draw for Kickstarter. And yeah, it was it's definitely a very interesting marketing route to go, and there's a lot that I've learned. There's a ton of blogs written about it too, but there's a lot that you learn about how to really get ready for it. There's a lot of work that goes into it.
So did you look at a bunch of different crowdfunding options before you decided to go with Kickstarter? Like, why was Kickstarter the choice that you made?
Kickstarter is the largest one for sure. So between Kickstarter and Indiegogo, like those are really the only two that I had looked at. And interestingly, Indiegogo reached out to me and was like, "We want your product on our website." Because once you put a pre-launch page on Kickstarter, a ton of people reach out to you. Like all of these different email lists and different places where you can like go and advertise your product. They reach out to you and they're like, "Hey, like put your product here." So anyways, they reached out to me. But I think for me, the Kickstarter community was really, the size of it was definitely really appealing. And then they also got a new CEO who was really trying to diversify the creators on the platform. So really looking, to highlight female creators and creators of color. And so really trying to kind of shed a new like light or message around, making it more accessible to people. And I think that was the other reason that really appealed to me. And I think, again, kind of coming back to it, like that kind of was what I was hoping the Kickstarter community would find with my product, was they're not just there to like back a product or an idea, like when I say idea, because you also have people that are like, back my play or like back my book, right? Which are also, kind of these interesting products that aren't necessarily as tangible as like an actual physical product, which you do see mostly predominantly those on there, but they're there to, back a belief, right? So you go on there and you say like, this product is here to represent this in the world, or help bring more of this into the world, or help your life in this way, or help other people's lives in this way. And I think that was really what appealed to me with the Kickstarter community, because Feel Good People isn't just a product that helps you to relax. It's also there to serve as a symbol of the importance of relaxation, the importance of, stress management, and we wanted that to be sort of the bigger encompassing piece of what people would be supporting through the Feel Good Mat, was this sort of overarching message or structure of, taking care of yourself, self-care, and things of that nature.
And I think your brand has done such a great job with delivering that message. It's very evident, like in your Instagram, on your campaign on Kickstarter, that really is your goal to, spread the awareness of the importance of managing your stress and all the different ways that you can do that. And I think you mentioned in our last episode that on your Instagram, you're also just sharing a bunch of other tips on how to cope with your stress and how to find ways of relaxation that aren't just tied to the Feel Good Mat. So I love that you're doing that. Let's dive into like the pros and cons of a crowdfunding platform. Do these kinds of places like market your product for you? Are they taking care of a lot of that on their end?
I think it's an algorithm, right? Just like anything nowadays, when you're doing marketing, you have to really understand how it operates. So, Kickstarter will tell you need to build your own audience pre-launch. So you start with at least a 6-week pre-launch campaign, and you're spending money trying to get people from Facebook or Instagram or whatever channel that you have an audience that would most resonate with your product, and you're trying to get them to sign up to eventually buy your product, right? And so we did that. We had ads going on Instagram and basically said launching soon, get this great price. And so you're trying to just like get as many people to sign up or give you their email address. And that's definitely that's like a make or break kind of thing that you have to do. And then once your Kickstarter goes live, and then through that whole process, you have to be emailing people, nurturing them, right? And thinking of like keeping them like aware. And then, hey, it's going to go live next week. It's going live tomorrow. It's live. It's like you have to like do that as well. And then, of course, you have to like call your friends and family. You have to remind people like, hey, go buy it. It's available. It's available. So at the end of the day, and then I also I emailed people on LinkedIn who worked at Kickstarter, like content people. And there was like one guy who like kind of lived close to me, and I kind of used that as I was like neighbor to neighbor. And he was like, once it's live, like send me the link. And so I was sending it out my campaign to people at Kickstarter and asking them to like, because they have a newsletter that goes out, and was like, put it in the newsletter, like, can you help me? Like, or what can we collaborate on? I was suggesting ideas and things like that. And we did get featured as like one of the products, one of their favorite products or whatever. I don't know. Like, I would say at the end of the day, about a third came from my network, like my, personal network. A third came from the email list that we had developed. And then probably another third came organically from the Kickstarter community itself. So at the end of the day, the majority was really driven by, feel good people, but there was a nice added extra layer that came in from organically from the Kickstarter community.
I love that you were still like so proactive about it and emailing all of the Kickstarter people. That's amazing, because I think there's so many people that, like go onto these platforms and expect like everything to just be taken care of for them. Right. But there's still so much that you can do to help kind of push the needle in your favor. So that's awesome to hear that you weren't just like sitting back and like crossing your fingers, hoping to get picked as one of their favorites. You were like, no, you're going to make me your favorite. I love that so much.
It's so cool because like, I'm sure some of my friends and family, like they wouldn't typically buy this product, but they're like, they want to support me. Right. But then there's the people who bought it from the email list or bought it from the Kickstarter that, again, like so passionate and so, people that's why you're really building a community, because these are people that like, they really understood what we're trying to do, and they really wanted to be a part of what we're trying to do. They really want this product. They're excited about this product. And like, they're like, I've been looking for something like this my whole life. I love vibration. I love sound. Like, this is so cool. Like, I can't wait. And so I think like that aspect of it really, really makes doing a crowdfunding or a Kickstarter fun. Like, I don't know how much of that collaboration you get when you sell it on your website, right? Because, and I'm not saying that obviously that's direct to consumer is a huge part of it, but I think there's like an energy that's behind doing crowdfunding, because there's a timeline, there's an amount you have to hit, there's a dialogue, there's a conversation that's happening with your backers. They're asking all these questions. And I think that excitement is, it really fuels kind of your purpose as well, and makes you even more excited about what you're doing.
I couldn't agree more. And this goes back to when we were talking a little bit before. So everyone listening, me and Kristan were actually having a conversation before we started filming. And we were talking about my manufacturing journey and how kind of a roller coaster it's been, and how I felt when it was kind of at one of the lowest points, basically, and how I ended up kind of moving forward from that. Like, I've done pop-ups with our imperfect merchandise, and I've still been able to get that feedback from the community and their excitement from it and their energy from it, even despite the fact that I'm like, yeah, this is, imperfect merchandise. Manufacturer kind of drops the ball, but we're still like, we're clearing it out at this special price, and we're still moving forward. and the energy that I received from them, it's like just more fuel to keep on going, because it showed me like, okay, you're on the right track, like keep going. People want this, people see your vision, people want to be a part of it. So I completely resonate with, having that being one of the biggest pros of going the crowdfunding direction. So your goal was 10,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you completely surpassed that, which is awesome. So yay you. Was there a plan B if you didn't meet your goal?
It was when you had sent me that question, and I like really thought about it, because for sure, like I said to myself, because like I had mentioned, like I put a lot of my personal savings into this, and that was always my plan. Like um I have this whole theory about like, okay, so I'm going to save this much and I'm going to spend this much, and then this much is going to go to my moonshot idea. And so I was always like, my moonshot idea, it's going to happen, it's going to come, and that's what this is for. And you start to like put money, and it's not, I mean, it depends on the product you're creating, but like it, for me, it felt like it was a pretty big cost, right? And so I got to a point where I was like, okay, like I'm going to spend this much more. And then it was like, okay, well, a little bit more. Okay, a little bit. And then finally I was like, okay, like this is it. Like I'm going to do the Kickstarter. Like if we hit, the minimum order amount, we'll keep going. And we didn't hit what my manufacturer wanted. Like they wanted obviously like, as much as possible, $1 million campaign. We didn't end up doing that, but like, we literally did. It's so funny because we literally did like exactly what I had said I felt comfortable with, because like I said before, like I wanted to be able to really be at the front end of when people get the product and help them if they need help with onboarding, setup, questions, whatever. Like I didn't want to have so many customers that I couldn't, scale the ability to help and support them. So yeah, like I think that was really important. So in my mind I was like, okay, like, if this doesn't work out, and it did work out, right? So it was like so I'm going to keep going. But I think if it hadn't, I probably would still try to keep going, because I'm the type of person that like I'll figure out a reason why I need to keep going. I'll be like, well, like maybe Kickstarter wasn't the right place. Like I need to be in person. So I'm going to get my prototype and go in person. And so I think when you really, really believe in something, you want to like keep going as long as you can. I know there's this whole thing about like sunk costs and all that. And like, I get that, but like, I don't fizzle out. It's hard to like get me to like stop once I'm moving in a direction. So I would have made a plan B. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm absolutely the same way. And I think that's why it's so important to find something that you really are truly passionate about. Because if you so profoundly believe in your vision and what it is that you want to do, like there's nothing that's going to stop you. You're going to have that tenacity to keep on going and to be really innovative in the way that you achieve it. And that's where all of the best success stories are, I think, right? When things don't go your way and you're like, okay, well, let me try this. Let me try this. Let me find a way and let me make it happen. So, what advice do you have for people that are kind of starting out and trying to figure it out, and maybe are currently like bootstrapping it all? Like what are your key tips for new entrepreneurs?
I think the main one is to just do as much as you can with what you have and where you're at in the day, right? So like for me, like it was, all right, like 1 hour a day, I'm going to just work on my business plan. Or, this weekend, my mom's got my son, and so I've got some free time, I'm going to do more. And so, doing the things that I could do that were free for me to do, that didn't, have to like, that I could personally do, just to take a little step more, a little step more, a little bit more, even if it was just sitting down and thinking about the business. I think it's all about just getting started and not like the money will come. The you know, vendor, the people who are going to help you build it will come. I think it's more about like just doing what you can do to make your idea you know, as tangible as possible. Again, whether that's drawing it, writing it, talking about it, putting it out into life. It's so amazing to me how many times I've said to a friend, I need this, I'm thinking about this, I've got an idea for that. And then they'll be like, a week later, they're like, oh, hey, like I was talking to somebody about your idea and they know a friend who blah, 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 you know, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that I told you about that and I didn't keep it to myself. I know a lot of people, they're like, don't talk about it, you know, and I'm just like, I don't believe in that at all. Like, I'm like, talk about it with everybody so that they can, because people want to help you, you know, because I think if I wasn't able to come up with the money myself, which I feel very blessed that I was able to bootstrap this as much as I did, like I would have put in a business plan together and I would have sent it to people and I would have said, hey, like this is a great idea. I think this is the market opportunity. I think, you know, so I think you just do what you can with what you have and you start putting it out there.
I love that you don't agree with the whole, you know, like hustle in silence kind of thing. I agree 1,000%. And I've always, you know, like seen those posts on Instagram and I'm like, no, like be loud about it. Be very loudly passionate. Tell the world like what it is that you're trying to achieve, what you want out of it. And I'm a firm believer that the universe will give you what you need as long as you're telling the universe, you know, what it is that you need. And you're telling these people, and people, whether you ask them to or not, they're just going to very naturally in conversation kind of share all these things that they know, right? Any business owners or any new products that they've come across, that'll just come up naturally in conversation. And it's kind of like indirectly like building your network and finding you all those amazing opportunities that you're not even directly like seeking out yourself. I think it's just those key ways of showing up that are so important to building that momentum and moving forward. I think there's a lot of times we put pressure on ourselves to be consistent in the way that we're showing up. Like we have to do this every single week at this time of the day. But that's really unrealistic for a lot of us. I mean, we're both moms. You still work your full-time job, right?
Yeah.
You're still working your full-time job. I'm still working my full-time job. So for us, it's kind of like we do things when we can. And
Yeah.
sometimes, you know, that consistency factor isn't as important as, you know, doing this thing that we haven't done in a while or doing this thing for the very first time. So it's just finding those key ways of showing up and making sure that we are showing up and we're very committed to what our vision is. So love that tip. What is the big future looking like for feel good people?
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, I would love obviously to have as many people who would find benefit in the Feel Good Mountain app using it every day and coming out with other, you know, technologies that help people, you know, reset their nervous system, find more relaxation and de-stress in their lives. So I think it's really just kind of getting this initial piece off the ground so that we can grow into, you know, a full-fledged brand and company that's able to create new products and build a community. Like that was really, you know, what we wanted to do from the beginning. So I keep saying we, do you do that? I feel like I do that a lot. And I'm like, it's like, really, it's just me, but I've worked with a lot of other people.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I need to start okay. But yeah, I mean, nothing really is ever truly just you, right? So I guess that's the other aspect of it. But yeah, I'd love to like bring more people on and I'd love to really create a company out of this. And I think there's just so much need in the world for people to you know, recognize like how stressed we are and like how unhealthy it is. Like I recently listened to a podcast that talked about how, you know, when you think about when you're stressed out, right? So like stress isn't bad. Like stress also helps you swerve out of the way when a car is coming to get you, or, you know, it's there to help you from danger. But we live in this state now where we're like more living in reactive to stress or danger than ever before. And it's got us like all out of whack, right? And that's why we're like, what's going on? What's happening? I need to do, you know, you constantly feel like you need to be doing something. And so I think to be able to, help be a part of this sort of movement to get people to recognize like how this isn't necessarily healthy and how we need to be listening to our bodies and respecting our nervous system and aware of our nervous system. I didn't even know what the nervous system was until like a few years ago, right? Like that wasn't even a thing. But learning about it and knowing about what's happening to me when I'm having, an issue with my partner, or I'm having a conflict at work, and I go, oh, like I need a break. I need a moment. I need to check in. And like a lot of that is just being aware of what's happening, with ourselves. And that's really what Feel Good People is about. And so if we're able to get that message out there and have people, be more aware of it, that to me would be the ultimate goal.
Thank you so much. And I definitely foresee, you're already making your way there, and I'm so excited to continue watching your growth. I'm so sad that you're moving out of the Bay Area. You just broke my heart a little bit when you told me that. But how can people stay connected with you, Kristan?
So Feel Good People, we're on Instagram. So it's at Feel Good People with like a little underscore. Or my Instagram is Miss K Town, MISSKTOWN, which I've had like forever. I thought about changing it to my full name, but I was like, no, I'm gonna keep Miss K Town, keep it going. And yeah, like I love talking about this stuff. I love talking about business. I love talking about entrepreneurship. So anyone who wants to talk more about these topics, like feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to share all of my experience and advice on what I've gone through with launching Feel Good People and the Feel Good Mat. So please reach out. I am happy to help in any way I can.
Yes, definitely pick Kristan's brain. Such a great brain to pick. But thank you again, Kristan, so much for sitting down with us a second time and sharing all your insights to your journey.
Thanks for having me.
Another incredible interview with yet another inspiring woman in entrepreneurship. I hope you guys loved that episode just as much as I did. Before we leave off, if you yourself are also a woman entrepreneur, I would love for you to consider joining our Empowered by Women directory. We're looking for women-owned product and service-based businesses in the US to help us build the go-to place for our communities to find local women to shop with and connect with, and we'd love for you to be a part of it. All of the details can be found on www.empoweredbywomen.com/apply-directory. Of course, that's going to be linked in the show notes below, and you're also welcome to reach out to me anytime if you have any questions. But other than that, thank you again so much for joining us, and I will see you in the next episode.